Hello and welcome to the channel. Gordon here of G17 Collectibles. This is a continuation of the Fanhome Build Your Own Robocop, and today we're going to be covering off issues 31, 32, 33 and 34. So there's all the magazines and parts lying there. Now let's take an individual look at each one and start building. So all issues today look as if they are all leg parts. The right continuation of the right leg. This is magazine 31 and the parts for it. So let's take a look and see what I've got to do in this stage. So we've got the right knee joint. Let's have a look here and get all the parts out that we need. So we have black plastic parts, that's a metal part. Has some screws. And then we've got some other little bits and bobs for what looks like the ratchet mechanism. Okay, so we've got the lower knee joint A, which looks like potentially that part there. We've got the lower knee joint B, which looks like this part here. We've got the joint gear, which is this part. We have a spring. Upper knee joint, which is this part, it's metal. The backrest, which is a little black piece in here, the nut, and then some screws. So let me just get all of this out on the table. And then I've got some EP screws and some SP screws. So I'll just put my EP screws out and my SP screws out. Okay, so step one is taking 31B, which is this part here, and securing the nut, this little plate, which is referred to as the bracket, and then two SP screws. So place the nut in here. This little bracket is then going to orientate on top of that nut, just to hold it in place. We're then going to take an SP screw into the bracket, and another. Oh. Darn it. Try that again. Fiddly, as usual. I'm going to line that hole up. Screw in there. Ah, darn it, done it again. Just tighten that one up a bit more so the bracket seems to be moving, and that's why I'm really struggling to put that in. Okay, let's, third time lucky. Let's try again. Apologies for those who are watching. There we go, that's it now. In they go, reasonably tight. They are out of plastic, so. Then we are taking the A part, which is this. We're inserting the spring, over that spindle. We're then taking the cog here and orientating that with the teeth facing towards us, and that tab there goes into that tab socket. Then we're taking the part we've just worked on and placing that over the top and lining the whole thing together. Oh, that looks right. Potentially. Yeah, no we're not. That's the completed version. Okay, on the page. Now we're going to take this big chunky metal part. That lines up with this. You can see it's then ratchets. We then take the other side with the bolt and line them two parts up. And then we're going to take some EP screws, one of which is going in here. And the other is going up here. Okay, good. I've still got some ratcheting going on. Then it suggests to take this bolt and from the other side, hit the nut, screw that in. How tight do you make this? Reinforce the joint with the long screw and the hole on the outside of 31A as shown where the gear is contained. Screw in gently so that the joint can rotate. It's a wee bit on the tight side. Yep, still got some rotation on that, which is good. It's always a bit scary kind of forcing that. You feel as if something's going to break. Anyway, that concludes issue 31. And we can now move on. Okay, we're now on to issue 32. Here's our parts and our magazine. Let's take a quick look through the magazine and see what we're doing now. So, continuation of the right knee joint. Let's get some parts out on the table here. So what have we got? We have a nice plastic cover, that flexible rubberized rubber. There we go, managed to get it in again. Rubberized rubber. We have two of these parts and then a whole host of screws. We've got EP, BM and EM screws. So 32A is the right knee sleeve, which is that flexible sleeve there. We then have the right upper knee joint A, which looks like this piece. We have the right upper knee joint B, which looks like that piece, and then a series of screws. So get my screws out first. EPs. BPs. And EM. Okay. Take the part we were building in 31, and the first action is to take this sleeve, make sure it's orientated the correct way around, which I believe that is. And we're going to slide that over the top. Does that look correct? Yes, I think so. Yes. Okay, so that just slides all the way over to there, I believe. Okay. Then we take this part, which I'm not convinced that is the right way up. Is that the right way up or not? It seems to be. Seems to be. Okay, we'll go with it. And we're taking this part. Now this part looks as if it goes inside there. Yep. So that part's locating at the top of this joint here. It's quite a snug fit. And we're going to take two BP screws. And locate the screw in both of these holes. Wonder if I should invest in a better screwdriver. Because the one I was using broke. So I had to resort to the free screwdriver that came with the kit, which is okay, but it's what I would refer to as a Christmas cracker screwdriver. It's pretty low quality. I mean, don't get me wrong, it gets the job done. And I've been using it for most of the build. Gets the job done, I guess. Okay, I've done that, so I've put the bracket in. The two screws are now in as well. Now we're taking the other side of this and locating that over the top. Let's see if I can line that up properly. Yep, clicks in. And then we're taking two EP screws to securely fasten that together. So it looks as if we've got a screw in there. And another. In here. There we go. And tighten. Okay, now we have to put that sleeve up so it's nice and freely fitting. We need to bring the leg assembly back over from previous issues, issue 30, which I have here. And it tells us to take the assembly from issue 30 and fit the knee joint inside the right knee, the lower grooves of the joint, fit inside the calf marked with an R as shown. So orientate the piece this way around, and there's 3 pegs with 3 corresponding holes, and that groove there has to align with this internal metal plate, I believe. So let's see if I can line that up. Yep, that slots in just nicely. Now we have to take 2 EM screws and get that secure. So I'm thinking that one of them is there. Yep. Reasonably tight. And the other is in the top here. Yeah, feels right. There we go. Excellent. So I think that is our issue 32 complete. We can now move on to the next issue. Here we go, issue 33. Some lovely parts in here. This looks like the other side of the calf. Let's have a look and see what's what. So we've got, yeah, the right calf. let's get these parts out of the packaging. And issue 33, if my maths are almost correct, we are close to being almost a full third through the build. So between here and a wee teeny bit of 34, that's us truly 1/3 of the way through. Okay, so these parts out of the plastic container. So what have we got here? What have we got? We've got the right outer calf. We have the right inner ankle plate, which is quite nice. Plastic, obviously metal here. That, however, is a plastic piece. Just wondering, there seems to be a bit of a slight colour variation. That seems to be a darker silver than the actual calf plate. Might just be the light, but it definitely looks a wee bit on the darker side. And then we have BM and EM screws. So I'll get my screws out on the bench. I'd say bench, it's a kitchen dining table. And then 3 BM screws. So what do we need to do? Bring the assembly from before across, which is this, okay. It's telling us to rotate the upper clamp, which is fine. Okay, get out the road basically. What we're going to do here is we're going to take the calf and we're going to attach that assembly into there, I believe. That's what it looks like, with 2 BM screws. So there's 2 posts, 1, 2, and then 2 of these lugs. So obviously that goes through there, locates on top of those lugs, and then our screws here hold this little black bracket into position. Interesting fact, obviously this Robocop build by Fanhome, it was originally released in France. That was the main area that they launched Robocop build in. This must have been about a year or so ago, because a lot of people in France have now completed their builds. Now, as you know, the whole set, you're talking about £11-ish an issue. There's 100 issues. So this will run you at least £1,100 to £1,200 with your delivery fees. And if you go for that stand, you're going to be talking £1,200 to £1,300. I noticed on eBay when I was just browsing during last week, somebody had put, I think they must have been French, the username certainly sounded French, and I believe the location was actually France. So yeah, it was French. But anyway, eBay, they were selling a completed model with the stand. The starting bid, I'm sure, was about £250. Or at the time I saw it, certainly it was sitting at £250. Do you know that it's sold? I'm pretty sure it's sold for approximately £280 to £290. That's a significant loss on something that's over 2 years you've spent £1,200 odd on, £1,300. So lucky winner, you've managed to get a fully complete Robocop for 290 quid. Absolutely fantastic. Kind of thought to myself, should I buy it? I wasn't paying too much attention to it, but I did think, will I buy it? The reason why I thought I would buy it was because I could then potentially have one to mess about painting with, you know, put that nice kind of like blue and purple hue on. And if I messed it up, I messed it up. But I'm thinking, I could potentially, because I don't really want to take the risk on this right now of ruining a £1,200 model. But if I had another one, I certainly could think about doing maybe a battle damage version, or just using it as a paint test. Anyway, I didn't buy it, but that was my thoughts anyway. sorry, digress there, and I can't do two things at once. I can't build and talk. So I've done that, 2 screws are now in there, BM screws. It's now telling us to kind of flip this into position. Like so, maybe. Let's see if I can get that lined up. Yep. I'll squeeze that together because there's a bit of a seam there. Okay, right. Knee joint still movable. And it's telling me to put 2 EM screws. Am I massively happy? That's a bit floppy. No. Why is my foot as floppy? See if I can take this back apart. Tighten that up a bit. And the last thing I want to do here is have a floppy foot. Let's have a look. Yeah, I might just have to tighten that ball joint in the foot a little bit more. And obviously there's still a screw to go through here to hold that ankle joint in place. But yeah, I think the problem is the ball joint in the foot. I've left it too loose. Okay, let's do that again. Let's flip that across and press together. Try and get rid of that seam. It's not fantastic. It's a bit better. Alright. So flip it over. We're going to put 2 screws in. There's 2 EM screws. And they are going here. Yep. It's not lining up very well. I think the problem is that now that's interesting. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I just wasn't majorly happy with the fit on the leg here because there is a bit of a seam. I can't seem to get it any tighter than what it is, but it's not lining up very well here and here. So I thought I would strip it all apart and have a look at the ankle joint and the bracket inside of here to see if there was anything kind of foul on it. Even after stripping it apart, it's still not necessarily great. So I think it just is going to be one of these things that is what it is. Anyway, so we're back to here. I've done this part and putting the 2 calf sections together. I now need to take 2 EM screws and get the bits together, which is a screw here. If that goes in. And I'm hoping this might close the gap somewhat. But I didn't want to just fire a screw in until I'd thoroughly checked out the brackets below. Yeah, there's still a wee bit of a seam line there. Okay, the top one is going in here. And that's pretty tight. Let me see if I can get this one up any tighter at all. So yeah, the fit, I would say, if you can see that there, the fit isn't fantastic. There's a wee bit of a gap there, which I'm not majorly happy about. Yeah, and we've got a gap there, which will be covered by that plate anyway. But apart from slightly floppy foot, which I can fix quite easily just by taking the sole plate off. Generally, that's it now complete. I think all we need to do now is whack on this plate down here. And yet that is a different colour. 100% that's a different colour. Look at the colour in that. So that's a much darker grey than this. I think I'm going to report that to Fanhome. I'm not majorly happy with the colour difference in that. Although it's in the inner side of the leg, they shouldn't be producing different colour pieces. That's not correct. So I'll get in touch with Fanhome, I think, over that one. Generally, that is us for stage 33. Stage 34, last stage of this build. Let's take a look and see what we're doing. So we've got the right knee, lower leg. Let's get the parts out. See what we're dealing with here. So we've got that part, and that part. Okay, so what's this? It's the right knee. That one's the right knee, sorry. A's there, B's there. Okay, right knee, plastic piece. We have the shin guard. We have a little cap in that bag and some AM screws. So let me just get my AM screws out first of all. I'll take this wee cap out. Okay, so we bring over the leg assembly again. And we're going to place the right shin guard on top like that. The good news is that piece is the same colour. And we're going to take 3 of the AM screws and secure that in place. So one on the bottom here. Two in the top. Last one. There we go. All secured in. Then we're going to take the right knee, this plastic part here, and we're going to locate that. So there's a pin on the back, a hole at the top, and down here we've got a hole here and a pin there. So it looks as if we're going to orientate that with 2 pins like such and push that in with a wee click. Great. And then we look as if we have this little cap to cover this hole. Need to make sure it's aligned properly. There's a special way to put that in. Yes, there is. At the top here, there's a section notched at the top. So you need to make sure you get it round the correct way. So it looks as if that's the correct way for me. This could be fiddly. And it should, in theory, just push right in there. Which it's going in, but it's not tight, so that may need a spot of glue. So anyway, that's us. That is issue 34 complete. So there we are. I've now fixed my floppy foot. So I just took the sole plate off, tightened up that ball joint. It's now quite nice. It's got some friction about it. I have noticed that the alignment of this leg, might have to take a look at that, but this bottom piece here is fouling on that piece there. So that might cause an issue. Might take a look at that. And yeah, this little stupid piece does need a spot of glue because it will not stay in place. So I'll do that after I finish the video. So there we go, that's issues 31, 32, 33 and 34. It was a continuation and build of the right calf. I would imagine in the next few issues we're going to continue this leg and have the upper thigh parts. As I said, we are now probably around about a third of the way through the build. We've got some really good parts. One arm, 1.5 legs, a helmet, a chest plate. So God knows what the next, how many more issues is there? 66 issues have got in store for us. We seem to have built quite a lot so far. So anyway, thanks for checking the video out, much appreciated. Hopefully it won't be too long before the next one. I feel as if I'm due a delivery in the next 2 weeks. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And until the next time, thanks very much and take care.